with the one and only Keshelle Davis, who was one of our VBS students and had an incredible result with her toolkit. I cannot wait to share with it. One of the things me and her have in common is we're both like visual snobs. So when you get to see her bundle, which I'll link in the description that she created, you see it's so visually pleasing. It looks really good. So I'm so excited to talk to you about this. Let's start with tell everybody a little bit about you, your background, and who you serve.
So it's so exciting to be here, Katya. I'm happy to share what you have helped me to produce with the bundle. So my name is Keshelle. I said I am an entrepreneur, and I work predominantly in the business education and training industry. My background is technology training, corporate training, business training, and so I've kind of served the small startup all the way to the Fortune 500 large organizations. And predominantly, I help now because I've gone through so many transitions, but I help entrepreneurs and organizations produce sustainable, profitable, successful online courses.
That's amazing. So you help others to turn their knowledge and their expertise into a tangible product that they can then serve lots of people with. And, if
Absolutely.
you're watching this and us, I'm a huge believer in courses and I buy them all the time because
Yeah,
I truly believe that if you have the education, there's nothing that can stop you. Absolutely nothing.
absolutely.
So what you do is super important. Would you like to
Mhm.
tell everybody how did you come across the Viral Bundle system in the first place?
So I'm a fan of and I love the content club. So I'm in the content club. How I came across the content club was I was stalking an influencer on her page, and she kind of mentioned, some of the things that she loved. And I'm like, huh, this sounds interesting. So I became a member of the club. And I still love the bundles that the templates that come out. And then when you launched the VBS program, that's how I found out about it.
That's amazing. So you were not new to what we do and you've
No.
already kind of had an experience and you knew, oh, this is interesting. Um,
Mhm.
can you tell me a little bit about just when you joined VBS, what did your business model look like in terms of what were you selling? What price points? What were your
Mhm.
offerings at the time?
Yeah. So this was an interesting dynamic because I was going through a transition in my business, perhaps like most people during, the time that we're in. So at the time, I was not as focused on corporate training as I would have normally been. I was predominantly selling my online courses. So I have two online courses now. And I was also selling, I had a membership, a long term membership. And then I had just started getting into offering VIP days. So they were the model when I joined VBS. I don't know. I probably had sold or started to announce my VIP days around that time, but it was predominantly my membership that I was serving and my online courses.
Amazing. So, course creator, membership site owner, which a lot of our customers in all our products are. Were
Mhm.
you in any way skeptical about joining VBS? Had any reservations if it was going to work for you?
Say so because I had already gotten understood the quality and the experience, like you said, in the club. I love what you do in the club. I love what you deliver in the club. And I saw what you did with your bundle, which was, the templates. And I had always known the power of, slow ticket offers, never really made time to create them. I had always known the power of them. And so when you launched a viral bundle or introduced it in the club, I knew almost immediately that that was something that I wanted to do. And I think I just came a little later, but I'll say it now because I really love the power of daily sales, right? So I've understood, the passive income for my membership. I understood, consistent revenue with my courses, but they were not that daily sales. I love the chime every day that the sale comes in. And so I believe that the low ticket strategy with the Viral Bundle system provided that for me.
That's amazing. And that's the biggest reason I tell people to do a bundle, whether they do it with us or not. It's because it's very hard to have daily sales with a membership if unless you have a really huge audience and a really good Facebook ads budget. But when you
Mhm.
have the viral bundle to bring people, you always have a constant stream of leads for your membership. And also, some people will try your bundle and they'll be like, you know what? She's not for me, and that's okay. And then they don't
Correct.
join your membership and and then just get disappointed. But instead, they can decide early on if they love you or if they don't. So that's really
Mhm.
powerful. So you joined VBS. What was the idea you came up with, and walk me through that innovation process of yours?
Yeah. So the initial idea was not the idea that I have now, right? The final product. So my first course, I have a goal setting course called Make It Real, which has been around for about 3 years. It's fairly popular. I sell it quite often. And so my initial thought process was to create a bundle for that course first. So goal setting, which would have been kind of the introduction to the course. And I actually sold maybe two or three of them. So I was already on that path to creating that course. And then through the process of course sharing and learning more about the types of bundles and what makes a viral bundle versus just a regular bundle, and getting feedback from you and the team members of VBS. I remember, I think it was you saying, you can have a good bundle or you can have a great bundle that goes viral. And so when we started to go through the process of just defining what my experience really has been, what my new passions were, and all of that, eventually it came to course creation, which I have done in my career for 17 years as a corporate trainer. So it wasn't the first thought, but eventually I was like, well, duh, this should be it. And so once I got that clarity as to, okay, that's the bundle, I went head first into creating the rapid course kit.
So you came up with the rapid course creation toolkit, a toolkit designed to help entrepreneurs to create their courses in half the time, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, so what did you think? Oh, this is what I'm going to include in the bundle. This is how it's going to look like. How were you envisioning it before you were going to create it?
So what I loved about the program was there is this particular resource that talked about the types of bundles, like, the convenience bundle versus the skill set bundle, all of that. And I thought that was such a really helpful resource to determine, there are different types, and based on the type would determine, what goes into it. So for me, I spoke to a couple of clients. So these were clients I would have worked with before, and also did, just surveying my audience to say, okay, when it comes to course creation, what is the biggest issue? So that's kind of how I started. And I realized that some of the biggest issues were they took forever to do courses. For me, I'm a quick start, right? Personality. So I don't take forever to do anything that I want to do. I wake up and I have the idea and I am running out the door and it's going to get done. So that's how I tend to think and operate. So when I looked at what went into the bundle, it was, what can I provide that helps people with knowledge, skill, create their course in as quick as possible of a time frame. And so it was, the templates that I've used, the checklist that, that removes all of the confusion from, how to start. I'm a tech trainer as well. So I have a lot of tech support information in my bundle. So it was more of that convenience. Hey, what can I do to get my course up and running as quickly as possible?
Yeah, so I loved what you mentioned about how important it is that what you create is something that is actionable rather than like your typical course that is that people are going to sit there and learn for 10 hours and after the 10 hours they still have nothing. While instead you're providing them with the checklist, with the templates to get
Okay.
started sooner and get done faster. And that's why it sold really well, which we'll talk in a second. Um, so, can you walk me through, and everybody watching this, what was your launch strategy? Okay, so you have the idea. What did you do next? Walk me through the entire thing.
Mhm. So I'll tell you, it was almost like a lazy launch. I must be honest. Because it was a time in I guess, my life where I was starting to slow down. I really didn't have or really want to put a lot of energy. I wanted to get the bundle because I understood the power of it, but I did not have a lot of energy or even time to focus on it. So from a lazy launch standpoint, I posted it using the script that you provided. I posted it on my pages initially. So that's where I got the initial yeses. And of course, I tracked the yeses using the spreadsheet that you provided. And then I think a couple of days later, I sent an email to my list. And that was pretty much it.
How
That
big
was
was your
pretty
list
much
at the
it.
time?
My list was, I did a lot of pruning because I'm going through a transition in my business with corporate clients that I had before. So I would say maybe 5 or 6,000 people on my list.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. So
So
that
you
was it.
sent
I
one
mean,
email.
so I did one email and a post on all of my pages, maybe even two posts, but definitely not more than two posts. And that was it. And I followed your strategy pretty closely with, identifying, if you have a certain amount of yeses, then that gives you permission to move forward with the process of creating the bundle, or at least putting the sales page together. And so once I had that number of yeses from those sources, I'm like, okay, let me get going.
Amazing. So you did a pre-sale, what we teach in VBS. You
Mhm.
decided to test the concept before you create it because that way you make sure that they actually would buy it.
Correct.
And it turned out that this was something the audience wanted, and then you were like, great. So speaking of launch numbers, talk me through what was the total number of sales that you had across that funnel, and how did it look like from like what did the funnel look like, and how many total sales did you have?
So when I launched, so I would say the total sales between that time frame, because I think we did a launch within a 2 week
Yeah.
window, if I could remember.
Hmm.
And so that was again the only time that I pushed it, to be honest. And so within that time, I've had about 26 bundles
Hmm.
sold. 11 of those were up for bumps, right? So it was about a 50% purchase in bump, which I was happy with. And I don't know if you want me to go with the results that came afterwards
Yeah,
as
go
well.
for it. Just
Yeah.
talk me through.
So
Yeah.
the 26 bundles, 11 bumps, and then I got two VIP day sales. And those two VIP day sales were $7,400 worth of business. So to me, it was really good. I was happy with that in the initial launch. I got my return on investment back from my investment in VBS, and that was happy as well. And and then after that, I kind of went into serving mode, creating the bundle, because of course now people had bought it, I needed to create it. And so that's pretty much where I'm at. So now I know when I start to really promote it again, it's going to be really exciting to get those sales back. And I have it on my page. People tend to buy it one by one, but I haven't put much focus on it recently. But within that 2 weeks time frame, I was really, really happy with the results.
I was watching at the time and thought, wow, she is nailing this. And, 8600 dollars in total. And what people should pay attention to is you said you had two VIPs out of 26 sales. That is almost if I'm not mistaken, that is almost a 10% conversion rate on a high ticket offer.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us, how many of us have ever like promoted a freebie to 1,000 people and then barely 2 people buy that, and it's like 26 people and 2 end up actually doing an actual VIP day? And I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to assume that that VIP day was on the topic of course creation, was it?
Absolutely, yes. And so it was so interesting because, the process that you teach is bundle, bump, upsell. And in my system, I really did not have an upsell because, again, it was a time where I was very lazy. I'm like, I'm going to follow this at the least bit I can, but I did not have an upsell like automatically in my system, and I still don't. And I know when I set that up properly in the system, it's going to do even more. These persons actually saw my posts and asked, hey, do you offer this one-on-one? I would like to talk to you about it. So, I thought that was even more interesting because
Yeah.
I did not really actively sell or have an upsell initially. But now that I know that is that natural transition, once I get back into, improving, and we talked about that in the program as well, what to do to really excel and master the program even more. I am going to be intentional about adding that upsell because I know now it works.
No, absolutely. And you're so right. Some people will see the bundle that you promote and they will go, "Oh, I really need this, but I don't want to do it myself. Maybe I'll just hire Keshelle to do it for me." And it kind of becomes like a marketing campaign for everything else you sell. And that has happened to us as well. Anytime we promote our viral content club, there's always someone who's going to say, "I love the idea of it, but can you just do it for me?"
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
so if you're somebody that offers high ticket, done for you or done with you kind of service, this is a really great opportunity to market that without really marketing it. So glad you mentioned that. Looking
Mhm.
back at that launch, what would you say was your biggest lesson or biggest learning that would be helpful for you to share with everybody who may be going through this process or may go through the process in the future?
Yeah, I love this question. I think mine, there were lots. There were lots of really good lessons. There were lots of really good insights. But for me, it was that shift in mindset from offering free lead magnets to low ticket paid lead magnets. So for me, I made the decision after going through this process that, I will really I'm not interested in offering free lead magnets at all. The free information happens on my Instagram page, my Facebook page. Thankfully, to the templates of our content club, thankfully, I have so many templates I can, just create a lot of free information. But if you want to get to my list, it has to now be a paid low ticket through my bundle. And so that was a really interesting shift because, I know what it is to create lots of lead magnets that were free, which is, part of the business building, which is what we've been taught. But the shift for me was, no, I'm not doing any more free lead magnets. I'm going to offer a low ticket. You join my list by paying that low ticket. Otherwise, you follow me on the Instagrams and on the Facebooks and the LinkedIn, and you get my free information there. So that was a
Yeah.
really big shift for me.
Yeah, it's the new paradigm that we teach, which is don't gate your free content. Your free content, be generous with it on
Yes.
all your platforms. And what you want to gate is the assets, like the templates, the tools, the scripts, the things that are unique to you, your unique IP. And then the
Mhm.
knowledge, give it away freely, especially if you're somebody who is a natural teacher with like yourself, then it makes sense that you showcase your teaching skills to the world, right?
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
uh,
That was a big one for me.
yeah, exactly. Speaking
Mm.
of the bundle, you've created the bundle and you've delivered to your customers, or at least parts of it. Tell me about your customers' feedback and their like, how are they feeling when they got it?
Yeah, I think this was the most fulfilling part because it's one thing to create it, and creating it of course took time, because now it's I love pre-selling. I'm a salesperson, so I love to sell, and so it's like, okay, I can sell all day. But now, okay, oops, now it's time to create. So it took some time to really create the content, because I wanted it to be as quality focused as possible. But when my clients got it, I remember, and I should have pulled it up, but I remember getting one message from a client, and she just was so grateful about the information and the resources that were shared, because she's like, you know what, I've been sitting on my course idea for forever. I couldn't decide which option to go with, but as a result of even the first template and the first piece of information she got, she was like, this is what I needed. And I've now gotten clarity on the course that I want to do. And so she's moving forward. And so they were very similar concepts of feedback from my person purchase of my bundle. And so that made me feel good, because it was okay. The work paid off. The sales, of course, is a benefit to me. But when I get feedback like that from my customers, that makes a difference.
Absolutely. And when the customers are happy, they'll recommend you, they'll share it for you. It's kind of a really nice entry point. And, it's also one cool tip I always share with everyone in VBS is, next time you go on a podcast interview, instead of having a call to action that's download my freebie or follow me on Instagram, give a call to action of buy my bundle. And then that way you get to be introduced to even more people, and you get to help even more people with your work. Much
Mhm.
easier. And people are like, oh, wow, she doesn't have a freebie. Well, that's interesting. And then people start seeing you as a business owner rather than a information provider, and
Yes.
everything changes.
Yeah, and I'm someone who speaks very often on various stages. And so that has also been something that has shifted for me, where ordinarily I would offer some free workshop or free resource. Now it's purchase my bundle. And I now have two. So I still kind of have the goal setting one that initially I kind of put that together. So after every speech now, it's, hey, I have a bundle that you can purchase. And so that also, again, has shifted the way that I do it as relates to speaking.
Amazing, amazing. I think the final thing I want to ask you, which might be helpful for everybody watching, is what kind of tools did you use to promote and sell your bundle? Like what kind of software and things like that made it easy for you?
So as far as landing pages, I'm a technology trainer as well. So software is something that I'm a geek about. But so my marketing software is Keep, Infusionsoft, formerly Infusionsoft. So I use Keep. My course, my platform where I've delivered the course or the bundle is a platform. It's fairly new, called Experiencify. It's a long name. um, and so those are the two platforms that I predominantly use, one to sell, collect funds, and the other to deliver the actual bundle.
So it's a very simple, very, very simple, no hassle. And to be honest, you created a very simple landing page that
Mhm.
just made things so much easier. And if that's your strength, absolutely leverage it, which it has been for you, and it has helped you massively. So I'm really pleased to see that. Um, I want to hear final words from you for anybody watching this video thinking, mm, is this another system I'm going to buy and I never do anything with, or is this going to be something that would actually move the needle in my business? What would you say VBS is best for? Like, who would benefit the most from it?
I would say to someone who is thinking about it on the fence, wondering if VBS is for you, to really see the value in what you're creating. For me, when I made the decision, it was not about price. It was not about, the work, but it was, hey, how does this fit into my business model? And do I have someone who I can trust that provides me with the process? And I will say the VBS process, the way that it's taught, the way that it's been delivered, the way that the program was supported, was truly, truly at top class. The resources were easy to follow. They were very comprehensive. And so it really left very little room for confusion. Once you're prepared to do the work, you will get the result, because there are so many examples, so many resources that we could pull from. I think your team really over delivered, Katya, in the program. And so again, if you are looking for me, I was looking for daily sales. It might be something else, because even in the program, you listed all of the benefits that a viral bundle can provide you. And so that for me was the one that I circled, but there was a list of other benefits. And you will get your return on investment, I believe, if you do the work, if you follow the process, you have a business model that you can really plug into already. This program will be, to me, a no-brainer, because, again, in 2 weeks, I made my investment back, plus more.
Well, I think that's a great note to end this on. I'm just like, mic drop. I have nothing else to say. If you are curious about VBS, check out the link in the description. Check out the offer that we have at the moment, and have a look if it's something for you, or if it's something that you may want to share with your friends or family or whoever it is that you think that needs it. Feel free to share this with them. So thank you, Keshelle, and I am so excited to see what happens when you do a non-lazy launch. That would be like fireworks.
Absolutely. I can't wait either.
Thank you, Keshelle.